To gain maximum control over you, a predatory narcissist will instill extreme fears in your head to keep you coming back and to stop you from leaving them permanently. They terrorize you by weaponizing fears like fear of abandonment, isolation, rejection, and being misunderstood. They know they have to program you into believing that you are nothing without them. But the game does not stop there. They also use some of your fears against you, the fears that everybody carries, especially survivors of complex trauma, and those survivors bring them into the relationship. That narcissist studies and thoroughly understands the psyche. What does he or she do next? Instead of calming the fears, they weaponize them, prolonging your stay and making it almost impossible for you to leave early. Hi, I am Danish, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. Today, we're going to talk about how a narcissist uses your fears as weapons of destruction. You may want to stay until the very end because I'll help you understand what weaknesses to work on so that you stop attracting narcissists forever. Fear number one, the biggest so far. Fear of not being enough, fear of being undeserving or unworthy. Who does not struggle with this fear? Almost everybody. But those who have survived narcissistic families, narcissistic parents, who are survivors of complex trauma, struggle with this fear a lot. In fact, it defines their identity. They experience not enoughness, unworthiness as their reality. It is not a feeling. It's not a belief either. It is how they approach life in everything they do. This is what the narcissist takes advantage of. They're predators. They have this weird sense of intuition. If you have this fear, if you do not feel enough, they can feel it. And instead of reassuring you, instead of helping you as a partner, as a friend, to find your innate worthiness, they make you feel worse. Not only by telling you you're not enough, by shaping the environment that further reinforces this state of being, as a result of which you keep trying more, you keep blaming yourself, and they keep enjoying abusing you. Think about it this way. If they're manipulating you, gaslighting you, if they're cheating on you, and then they're tapping into their fear, saying, I'm not wrong. I didn't do anything that I should take responsibility for. You were not available, or you did not do a certain thing a certain way, or you have lost weight, you have gained weight, or there is something wrong with your complexion, or you're not doing your job perfect enough. You won't defend yourself because you have that innate sense of worthlessness active. And instead of proving them wrong, what will you do? You'll agree to all those blames. You will easily personalize them, and then you will initiate the process of proving yourself. Once again. Why once again? Because you were forced to do the same thing with your parents, with whosoever instilled this fear in you. Let me tell you this, whether or not you believe it, you are enough the way you are. The belief that you're carrying is not yours. It's an alien belief. Somebody projected their own shame onto you. And now your job is to find that worth within, to realize that you are enough as a human being, as a person, as an empath, as an understanding and a caring human being. That's how you will stop narcissists using this belief against you. Fear number two, fear of being a bad person. At the core of every traumatized personality, there is a wound that screams, I'm a bad person. Why do we believe that way? Well, our narcissistic parents made us feel that we were inherently bad, we were wrong at a fundamental level. How did they do so? They didn't just tell us things, they also reprimanded us continuously. They put us down, they shamed us, belittled, compared us with others. We were not enough, just the first thing. We were never accepted as human beings, as the children we were back then. We were always expected to improve, and that left a lasting impression. We were made to feel wrong or bad for expressing emotions, for being the way we are, and that created this dissociation from our true identity. We started becoming the person they wanted us to be. We started performing for them. Why? Because we assumed that the real person I am, the real person I was created as, is unacceptable. I'm bad. I'm faulty. I cannot be myself. Ugh, that is disgust. That is shame. And that shame spiral is what pushes you to feel so guilty in all circumstances across your life. I need to tell you, that is what a narcissist uses against you, to make you feel you're a bad person. If you think of leaving the relationship, if you think of creating space, basically if you think of breathing for yourself, you are a bad person. Instead of seeing their actions as manipulative, as coercive, what do? You listen to the inner voice that puts you down. Oh, I'm a bad person, it must be my fault. And when they make you believe through their actions that you caused the problem, it becomes easier, relatively easier for you to accept the blame or the accusation because of your own already traumatized self. Fear number 3, fear of poverty or financial crisis. This one is really big and may not have a lot to do with your childhood trauma. See, some narcissists betray you financially. They will love bomb you into thinking that you can easily depend on them. It's okay because they'll take care of you. They have the means and the resources to provide for both of you and the family as well. You trust them because that is what would anybody do in your situation. But then later you end up begging for pennies. They make you feel like you're a burden, that you're asking for too much, or you are too expensive to deal with, or worst case scenario, they'll call you a gold digger. And what does that lead to? Oh, I depend on them, I left my job, I have no resources, they took advantage of me, and now there is financial uncertainty. I cannot leave because if I did, then I won't be able to provide for myself or my children. Or it's going to be really expensive, which unfortunately to a certain degree is true. It's expensive to live decently nowadays. But that fear makes it 1,000 times worse for you to navigate as a problem. And if you have survived poverty, oh, this is going to add fuel to the fire. They'll tap into it and they'll make you think there's no future ahead of you outside of this relationship, forcing you to overstay. Fear number 4, and the last one. A lot of survivors of complex trauma, narcissistic abuse, are subjected to religious gaslighting, because religion, unfortunately, when in the wrong hands, can be used as a weapon for destruction. They can tell you, oh, going against me is like going against God. They may say something like, go ahead, break this marriage, divorce me, but remember you're going against God and you're earning God's displeasure. God does not like the concept of divorce, which unfortunately is inapplicable in this situation. Maybe in a lot of situations you should think about working out the problems, and you should think of finding different solutions to complex problems, but this is beyond repair. And they say things like, oh, God wants you to be obedient towards your parents no matter what. If you do not keep me pleased, for sure you will go to hell. If you go against what I say, God will never accept your prayers. It's not only said, but you are made to feel that way. Understand, they abuse you through their actions more than their words. That is the trick. That's why it's so complex to navigate the dynamics of a narcissistic relationship. So they will make you think that you'll be the worst person in God's eyes if you were to hold them accountable, if you were to demand an apology, if you were to ask them to change their behavior, for they are perfect and godlike. They won't tell you that, but in their head, they are godlike. There is no mistake they can ever make. They're perfect in their creation. What will you end up doing? You will end up staying. Oh, God will hate me if I destroy the relationship between my children and their father, my children and their mother. Oh, God does not like those people who are bad towards their parents, so I need to maintain low contact. No, you don't. God also does not like injustice. Why don't they talk about it? God also does not like cruelty and arrogance. Why don't they talk about it? Because selective understanding is their main approach. They only understand what is applicable to their situation and what will give them power. Basically, they don't care about God. So, God is not going to hurt you. You won't be a bad person if you will do the right thing. Those were 4 fears and the explanation how a narcissist uses them as weapons of destruction against you. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, and I will talk to you in the next one. Until then, as always, let the healing begin and continue.